You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
Sunny 93.3. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris joining us right now. How you doing, mister?
I'm doing all right. You guys?
Fabulous.
Everything good in the world of John and Heidi and John?
I think so. What do you think, Heidi?
I like the sound of Heidi and John better.
Oh, really?
John,
Yeah.
got to have top
Heidi and
billing.
John.
Top billing.
I know. I should have top
Heidi,
billing.
I'm going to turn your volume up even.
It was a big day. I don't know if you're celebrating or not, but I wanted to point this out. This happens to be National Handcuff Day.
I know.
Wait.
John says I know. Doesn't even know. I know.
I got a pair on right now. I've been trying to get these off since 6 a.m.
I've
So
been at Hallmark half the morning trying to find an appropriate card. Today, it marks the occasion, this very day in 1912, when we were just kids, a patent was granted to George A. Carney for a revolutionary new style of handcuff. That design became the go-to restraint method of law enforcement people around the world.
and
Well, there
kinky
you
people,
go.
too, I think.
And now you know.
And that's part of it. Yeah, and here's the thing anymore. When I see law enforcement, when they're out with groups, protest groups or something, a lot of
Yeah.
times they'll use, it just kind of
Zip
looks
ties?
like a big zip tie thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the thing, and I really want to stress this. If you get arrested and they whip out one of those zip ties,
Yeah.
just pause a moment and go, hey, if you have the real handcuffs, because you need the real experience.
Don't take this away from me.
You do. And here's
I've
what
been
happens.
protesting.
Yeah,
I want the real
do it
thing.
nicely, because inevitably what happens, and I don't care how big of a person you are, but the arresting officer will always put those cuffs on just a size smaller than what they should be.
Little
Really?
too tight.
And if you're a real jackhole, they're going to muscle
They're
them
gonna
up
be
big
super
time.
tight.
See, now, I've never been arrested, so I don't know what that experience is like.
Me either. I watched a documentary. And then I read.
Heidi, have you ever been arrested?
I have not.
So
I was taken away in a cop car, but I didn't have cuffs
no
on.
cuffs?
No.
So the closest thing I ever did to celebrate this handcuff day, when I was a little kid, my dad was a policeman, and we locked my brother to a radiator
Fantastic.
and then the keys were gone. My dad had the keys, so we had to call my dad and have him come home and unlock my brother from a hot radiator. So don't do that. That's not a nice thing to do.
National Handcuff Day.
There you go. Celebrate accordingly.
Fantastic.
We've got something else coming up in a bit. It's called Manly Men Doing Manly Things. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show on Sunny 93.3.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Excuse me, haven't I seen you on the MTV?
On Sunny 93.3.
Sunny 93.3. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. It's time now for Manly Men Doing Manly Things in a manly fashion.
We're men among men and manly men, yes, manly men are we. We're men among manly men are we.
This is kind of a take on what we did, probably a month and a half ago or so, and that was surviving a bear attack,
Yeah.
which was, basically just make sure somebody's with you, they're slower than you are.
No, that's not.
Kind of the
It was
takeaway.
curl up in
curl
the
up in
fetal
a
position
ball,
and
yeah.
cry like a baby.
I think that was our very first manly tip, wasn't it?
It sure
Yeah.
could have been.
Because I just remember thinking that didn't sound too manly.
And this is along those lines, and of course, the Sioux Falls and surrounding area probably isn't real conducive to this, but knowing how to properly treat a snake bite.
Yeah, it's a good thing to know in case you get bit by a snake.
Yeah, and if you grew up watching the old westerns and whatnot, somebody would get bit by a rattler.
Yeah.
Then you just, you kind of cut a little X in that spot where the bite is and then suck that venom out. It's all made up. Don't do that.
Because then you get sick too, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
it's going to kill both of you, and then there's spit involved and everything else. And
No
the thing
swap
is,
and spit on the trail.
there are
Come
so
on.
many different varieties of snakes. Venom have different power with different reptiles. So the first thing to do is get to know your snakes. For instance,
Excuse me, snake. What kind of snake are you?
hey, can I see some ID? That's the thing. Some are poisonous, some are not.
Huh.
Some can kill you in a heartbeat, and some you just kind of hang out and get a little trippy for a while before you have to be worried about it.
All right.
So yeah, do your homework. Me, I've got some garter snakes on my property, and
See, now, do you say garter snakes or gardener snakes?
Garter with a T, G-A-R-T-E-R.
Yeah, and that's what I say.
Garter.
But I heard somebody referring to them as gardener snakes, and I said, I think it's garter, and they were adamant that it was gardener snakes.
Well, whoever that person was, John, they're completely wrong. And if you have their contact information, I'll get a hold of them personally.
I told them there's no way that they're gardener snakes because snakes don't have a green thumb. So they're just
That's
no
a true
way.
story.
They can't be.
Yeah, so how to treat a snake bite.
Do you have the answer on how you treat one or no?
Well, it's different for different snakes.
So
You heard
need to-
that part.
The good news is everybody has a cell phone on them at
Personally,
any
I
given
have the article
time.
right in front of me here. If I really wanted to dig into it, it would take a very,
So,
very,
like, you
very
could
long
Google,
time.
is a snake with red diamonds on its back, is it poisonous? And then you can look it up. And then, okay, if it's poisonous, then Google, how do I treat this poison? Everybody's always got a phone on.
There
It.
you
They're
go.
all good
Especially
now.
if they're out in the wilderness getting bit by snakes.
Yeah, and the
They
thing
typically
is-
got a phone right there.
Well, it wasn't that long. It was this past summer. Someone golfing. Where the heck was it? Right across the border in Iowa. Was it some guy got bit by a rattler?
Really?
Killed him.
Holy cow. See,
Just playing around at golf.
we should quit laughing about this then. I didn't know it was that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Kill
there
ya?
are rattlers
In fact,
in this
in
area.
the time it's taken us to discuss this, probably just across the Midwest, a good couple thousand
30
people
people.
died from snake bites.
No, I don't think that could be. I'm pretty sure that number is puffed up a bit.
They're one of America's shames that never gets talked about.
Yeah. It's the
Dial up some outrage.
leading cause of death by people who are bit by snakes. Wow. That's going to do it for your manly man doing manly things in a manly fashion. I think we've learned nothing.
Just doing my job, John.
All right. Coming up, we've got water cooler talk.
We're men among manly men are we. Come on, men, let's kill it. What are we, women?
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show, now featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris
You heard it on your Walkman radio?
on Sunny 93.3.
Sunny 93.3. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour. We've got Dan Farris with us during this hour, and right now it's time for water cooler talk, brought to you by Aqua One.
Everybody's chatting about this. I grew up, I went to elementary school in North Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And over the lunch hour, you went home for lunch.
Yeah.
That's what you did. The advent of hot lunch, you know who kind of started that whole program with the public school system?
Some guy with
government and
a
all
kitchen,
that?
I'll bet.
No.
Who was it?
It's a homie, George McGovern.
Really?
He conceptualized that whole school lunch program thing. That was kind of his baby.
Okay.
Yup. Now let's morph ahead to just the other day, and this is creating hubbubbery.
I love hubbubbery.
Yep, West River, the lead, or is it lead?
I think it's lead.
I know it's lead. I'm just playing, John.
All right.
The Lead Deadwood School District is considering turning delinquent lunch accounts over to collections.
What?
Collection agencies, yep.
How delinquent must you
They
be?
must be extreme. I mean, it's not like you're going to turn somebody to collections for $8.
Why not? Libraries
It
are
would cost
doing
you
it.
more than that.
Well, they're out about $8,000 right now.
Here's what I think would be really nice for a kind, good doer of deeds to just go and pay all of that off. Somebody who, has the means to do it, to say, you know what, here's a check. Now leave those kids alone.
And maybe somebody will. Now, in the past, usually principals dial this stuff up. They will call the parents,
Right.
whatever, and try to deal with it. But apparently, some people involved in this are saying, you know what, $8,000, that's a lot of do-re-mi. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I have no involvement with that particular school district.
And that's not one person that owes $8,000.
Oh,
it's,
no.
It's a bunch of kids.
No.
It's like that kid is really delinquent.
Yeah.
Haven't paid since kindergarten.
Exactly. But I just think it would be absolutely hilarious for me to just muscle up some goon squad with lunch ladies. Lunch ladies with guns. Banging on the door 2 in the morning.
We're here for your lunch money.
Yeah. We're in helmets and little night vision goggles and stuff.
There are actually probably some people who used to beat kids up and take their lunch money. They would be good enough to go out and they could actually go and just,
That's what I mean.
be a collection company now.
They don't do a collection agency. Do hired goons because that's just funny. Hey, Rick.
It's 3 a.m.? Yeah. You're delinquent by $8 on your account?
Hilarious. Swinging in through windows, glass breaking, lead flying.
You're
a 748.
I wonder if... And by the way, that front door just cost me $200. Thanks for kicking that in. I wonder if there are kids around here that are delinquent. Is that a big deal around here, do you think?
They're everywhere, yeah.
So we should find people who want to adopt some delinquent kids and help pay off those debts.
Juvenile delinquents?
Well, it's just their delinquent account. What do they do in the school system here? They don't turn the kids over to collections, do they?
I don't know. My kids are grown with kids of their own. I don't have a dog in this fight. I just thought it was fantastic that Lead Deadwood is it Deadwood or is it Deadwood, John?
It's Leadwood and Dead.
Leadwood and Dead are they're ponying up with some muscle to get some of his do-re-mi back.
I think it's fantastic.
Hey, man.
I mean, pay your bills.
Cut rate chicken nuggets ain't free, my friend.
It is for some people.
If that really is chicken.
All right. We've got entertainment news of the day coming up. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
What is that thing you're doing?
It's technical. It's one of our little toys.
On Sunny 93.3.
Sunny 93.3. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Time now for entertainment news of the day with Dan Farris. How you doing, Dan? You got something good there?
I was laughing. Well, I think we've certainly lent credibility to the fact that celebrities are fabulous. So I'm dialing through like all celebrity news, like coast to coast around the planet. I've got London going on, UK and everything else. Literally, all I can find is it's either Kardashians, or the Oscars.
Yeah, the Oscars are all over the place.
That's all I can find.
It's almost like they want
Or
us
the guy
to.
with the fake lynching crime.
Yeah, but it's like they.
the fake lynch hate guy. What's his name?
Julie
Josie
Smollett.
Wales.
Smollett, I don't know.
Okay.
See, how sad is it that none of us even know his name?
I didn't know who he was before this happened.
But I
It was
did
on
find
Empire, I
I
found
did
out.
find a couple fun things, sort of kind of. Speaking of the Oscars, and they just booked them. Queen is going to be performing on the Oscars.
I like that. I saw that too.
It'd be interesting to see if Freddie Mercury shows up. I don't
He
know.
will not be. He's been gone a while.
Why do you ruin? You're a dream
Sorry.
crusher, John.
I didn't mean to.
It's that little Adam Lampert dude who heads up Queen these days and has for quite a while. He was.
Would've been.
I think he was on. Help me out here.
Voice or something.
Or what's that other one before The Voice?
America's Got
American
Talent.
Idol?
Thank you, John. America. Yes.
I won the bonus point.
Yeah, but from what I hear, this Lampert guy does a really, really
He does.
kick job.
He's good.
For Mercury.
The young man that was the person who actually played Freddie Mercury in the movie, I think he would have been Remy. I think he would have been. It would have been really cool if they would have had him there, and maybe he will. We haven't seen it.
He will be there. I think he's up for an Oscar.
Yeah,
isn't
but
he?
how
For
cool would it
Bohemian
be
Rhapsody, right?
If he was out there singing, I mean, is what I'm saying. So
Super cool. Why the producers haven't contacted you from the Oscars, John, I don't know.
they never do. They don't return my calls.
And speaking of that kind of genre, it's finally coming out based on the 2002 book entitled The Dirt. The Motley Crue movie's coming to Netflix.
All right.
Have you seen the trailer?
I haven't.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Pretty
good.
The world's most notorious rock and roll band.
Yeah, they've had their fair share of some interesting times. We'll put it that way.
A little bit. But yeah, the Motley Crue The Dirt is scheduled to start airing on Netflix through Netflix Films on March 22nd.
Nice. We'll have to watch that. We
So-
have Netflix.
There you go.
I think everybody has Netflix, but a lot of people just have like their friend's account. So we actually have our own account. And I think we're the only ones that have our account. I don't think anyone else has it.
No.
Which is pretty rare. Earlier we were talking about school lunch, and we were wondering what happens in the Sioux Falls school lunch. And we were notified, by the way, that here they do not send a collection agency. Instead, what they do is when you get delinquent, they give you the bag of shame. So you no longer, like you get 2 or 3 lunches behind, then they give you a paper bag with like some crackers in it. So they quit serving you at a certain
Well,
point.
they can't continue to.
Deadwood Lead, which we were talking about earlier, I guess, is sending out, as Dan so eloquently put it, the goon squad.
Hired
heavy.
muscle, hired gun.
Right in
I'm
the
pretty
heavy.
sure that's not what it says in the story, but we were talking about what happens, and we were notified that that's what happens.
I want to say, and boy, seriously, take time out of your busy life to phone in or email and correct me if I'm wrong. South of town, the Barrel House.
Oh, yeah.
restaurant,
Yeah.
I believe the owner of that started doing a fundraiser
He
a
did.
year or so ago.
Yeah.
And I believe
Mark Fonner.
those funds were earmarked for that exact
For that or
Yes.
backpack
believe
program.
so,
Yeah.
or
So,
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of dough. I don't know. Again, I don't have a dog in that fight. I just think West River, man, they want to get hired goons to collect lunch money. I'm just for it.
It just sounds so funny.
It sounds great.
It sounds crazy.
Yep.
Just like this last hour, typically. For oh, what did I say that with you here?
Go get them.
It's our.
By the way, last year, the worst ratings in the past 44 years for the Oscars, and
Yeah.
we're expecting even worse ratings.
I
Oh,
bet
yeah,
it's gonna
absolutely.
Be,
It's
they don't
gonna
even
be
have a
worse.
host this year.
It's
They got
gonna
no
be a
host. They
nightmare.
don't know what they're doing. It's been a car wreck so
Yeah.
far.
They're just
so.
handing each other awards, and they try to continue to make it a
But
big deal.
regardless, whether
so.
you watch or not, man, celebrities are fabulous. Just ask them.
It's been our entertainment news of the day and a little more right here on Sunny 93.3. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, with an extra hour of fun, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris on Sunny 93.3.